Got it.
Mr. Troyer, look for join and hit join. Mr. Troyer, look for join.
Hi, Don. I need to get out.
Why?
'Cause I need to stand up.
You want to stand up? You hold it.
Huh?
Good morning, everyone. We are on the record in the 13th Judicial District, the District Court of Butler County, Kansas. This is our Monday, July 10, 2023, 9 a.m. misdemeanor control docket. Mr. Andrews, is your client Kristen Huerta here?
She is, yes, Your Honor.
Let's take that matter up first then. We are on the record in 2022 CR 458, State of Kansas versus Kristen Nicole Huerta. Please announce appearances.
Jared Regier on behalf of the state.
Joshua Andrews on behalf of Ms. Huerta, who is
And
also
present in person by Zoom. Thank you. And Ms. Huerta wishes to proceed how on this harassment by telephone, Mr. Andrews?
Your Honor, I have not yet had the opportunity to fully review the discovery. I would ask for I have met with Ms. Huerta to discuss the case with her, but I'd ask for a 30-day continuance to finish reviewing the discovery and then find out if there's any options for disposition on the case.
Well, I wish I could give you a 30-day continuance, but our docket is so crowded, it'll be much longer than that probably. Clerk, how much?
Your Honor, I actually do have a few spots open on August 14th.
Oh, wonderful.
It would be about 30 days almost.
Okay.
That Your Honor.
All right, so that's August 14th at 9.
Correct. I have about 7 spots open there, so we
Oh.
can schedule a few,
It's a miracle. Thank you.
right?
Okay, August 14th, 9 a.m. Ms. Huerta, you will need to be back here at that time. You hear me? If you could unmute. Should see a little red button. There you go. Can you hear me? Now I can't hear you though. All right, if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up, would you please, Ms. Huerta? Thank you. All right, so you'll need to be back here August 14th at 9 a.m. with your attorney. Make sure you're available to Mr. Andrews if he needs to talk to you between now and then. And make sure the next time that you have both audio, video, and that we can hear each other, you can always go to the courthouse if you have trouble with your transmission. But next time I will need to be able to hear you. All right, if there's nothing further, Ms. Huerta is continued on bond and we will be in recess on her case. She may
Your
go.
Honor,
Yes,
before we go off the record in Ms. Huerta's case, we would just ask that the court reminder of the no contact with the victim, which actually the victims are her parents.
okay,
There have been some issues where she has done some texting and whatnot in the last, well, since the last court hearing, from what I understand. So we would ask the court reiterate the no contact bond conditions.
thank you, Ms. Norris. All right, Ms. Huerta, you better make sure you don't violate your bond.
Okay.
And there's a condition on your bond that you not have contact
Okay.
with victims or witnesses. And the alleged victim in this case is a Douglas Penrod. Don't have contact with him directly or through his wife or anyone else, not in
Okay.
person, not by text,
Okay.
Snapchat, or any of those other social medias. Understand, if you do, you can get your bond revoked and end up in jail behind the bars until we get this resolved.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
We can end the call now.
All right, you can end the call now. We are in recess again. Okay, Mr. Patterson, how are you doing today?
Your Honor,
Good. Fine, Judge.
Good.
I was still working on cases. I was going to see if I can have Tasha K in a breakout room.
Very well. And Mr. Andrews, did you have someone else on the docket today?
I did, Your Honor. Victoria Wilson Foster.
All right, so if the clerk can help Mr. Patterson and Victoria Wilson Foster, are you here?
Yes, I am.
All right, now you'll need to make sure your car's not moving at all, even if you're not the driver. You need to make sure your phone's not twirling around, and it sounds like we can see and hear each other, so let's call your case. On the record in 2023 CR 77, State of Kansas versus Victoria Amber Elizabeth Wilson Foster. Please announce appearances.
Amber Norris for the state.
Joshua Andrews on behalf of Ms. Wilson Foster, who is also present.
And how does she wish to proceed today, Mr. Andrews?
Your Honor, I've not had the opportunity to visit with Ms. Foster or Ms. Wilson Foster. So I would request a continuance in order to do so. And then, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I'm trying to check something real fast.
Sure.
I don't believe I have the discovery yet on her either, but I may be wrong about that. No, I am. I did get the discovery. Sorry. But I've not yet had the opportunity to visit with her. So I'd ask if we could have a continuance, and I would ask if I could have a breakout room after we go off the record to schedule a appointment with her.
Well, I would be inclined to have one more continuance. Hopefully that'll be enough time to get this resolved. Her first appearance was back in February. Of course, you weren't appointed until April, but do you think 30 days is enough, or do you think we ought to go out a little further on this, Mr. Andrews?
Your Honor, just to try to make sure that we don't need any additional time to give me enough time to meet with her and then also determine if there's a way to work something out in the case. And then hopefully, if there is, resolve it all at that same hearing. I'd ask for a little bit longer than 30 days.
All right, what are we looking at?
I can do either August 28th or we can do September 18th. Whichever.
Can we do August 28th, Your Honor?
Does that work for you, Miss Norris, August 28th at 9?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
You're welcome. Very well, this matter is continued at the defendant's request to August 28th at 9 a.m. Now, Miss Wilson Foster, your case is getting some age to it, so make sure you're in contact and available to Mr. Andrews when he tries to help you with your case.
Okay, you said August 28th at 9 a.m.?
I did, and you'll need to be here by then, or then you can be here by Zoom.
Okay.
Okay, make sure you're mindful of your bond conditions. And if there's nothing further, we'll be in recess. Miss Wilson Foster is excused.
And if I could have a breakout room with her though before she gets off.
Okay, but Miss Wilson Foster, don't leave. You'll need to see an invitation on your screen. Click on that, and then you'll be in a breakout room with your attorney.
Okay.
Savannah, are you manning this all by yourself today, or?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Okay, it's just always a handful, I'm sure. Anyone else? Mr. Andrews, though he's gone. How about, I saw Mr. Geffrey there. Sir, you are here. Good morning.
Morning, Judge.
And Mr. Geffrey, who do you have today?
Mr. Romero here with me, Judge.
All right, I see him. Thank you.
Yeah, hello, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're on the record now in 2023 TR 565, State of Kansas versus Antonio Romero. Please announce appearances.
Here.
Amber Norris for the state.
And Antonio Romero appears both in person via Zoom and through counsel Nathan Jeffrey, Your Honor.
Mr. Geffrey, how do you wish to proceed on your client's behalf today?
Yes, Judge. I believe that Mr. Romero has applied for diversion at this time. And so we would just ask for a diversion hearing date, Judge.
Ms. Norris, what would the state's response be to this request for an extension to apply for diversion?
Your Honor, no objection at this time.
All right. Mr. Geffrey, your client's first appearance was back in February, so if he could be speedy and taking care of these requirements, I would not object to setting this over again. Do you want one of those dates that Clerk Savannah gave us, or would you like to hear those again?
Oh, if I could hear those again, Judge, I apologize.
No problem at all. Savannah, could you mention those?
Yeah, I can do August 28th, September 18th, if you need a little bit more time, or September 25th.
If we could do September 18th, just to make sure that Mr. Romero has plenty of time. He is currently living out of state right now, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Romero, if you're going to apply for diversion, be serious about it and get it done quickly, or at least timely, I should say. Don't delay, because there's going to be application fee, a process, contract process. You're going to have to get an alcohol and drug evaluation and everything else that your attorney tells you. So don't drag your feet. And I never asked, is that okay with the state?
The date, Your Honor?
That date? Yes.
Yes, that's fine. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, and you'll have to be back here at that date and time, Mr. Romero, because I'm setting this so far out and the case is getting some age on it. Make sure you don't delay, please.
Understood.
All right, thank you, sir.
And that's at 9 o'clock again, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Geffrey. And of course, if he's completed on the diversion, he won't have to reappear for this hearing.
Fantastic. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. You may go, Mr. Romero, in recess.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Geffrey, are you here for someone else today?
I think that wraps me up, Judge.
All right, thank you. You're excused as well.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay, do I have any other defense attorneys on here that I'm overlooking? I don't mean to, but if you're here, please feel free to speak up. Hearing no one else, who do you have in the Sallyport, deputy?
I have three people.
Okay,
Here, I have Harold Todd, Dylan Smith, Joshua Clinton. And
See,
they're all Mr. Patterson's people, and he has not talked to any of them yet. Like,
not good. Okay,
not good, because we also got 3 courts going, and our Sallyport 2 that he could have had the opportunity to talk to him with is now tied up with another court.
yeah,
I don't know how we're going to do it for.
okay, Savannah,
We'll figure it out.
can we get, if Mr. Patterson has not been made aware of this, can we get communication to him that we need to take up those 3 as soon as we can? And he has someone on a warrant to show cause, and I see the state has subpoenaed 3 witnesses. I don't know if he has any, but Miss Sarah Wheeler, is that why you're here today, is for a warrant to show cause?
That's correct, Your Honor. I am covering Dylan Smith's case for Kit Russell. He's out of the office today, so I am effectively Kit today.
All right, and I think Mr. Smith has another case that is set for a different status. Yes, I think he's got another one on here for control, so let's see if we can't get Mr. Patterson to take that one up as soon as he's available. Is his client in jail? Yeah, oh, no, he's at the Sallyport, I'm sorry. Yes, Mr.
Judge,
Yes, deputy.
we got another court going on in that Sallyport 2 right now, unfortunately.
Okay, so what?
As soon as it gets finished, I'll let you know so we could start getting them in.
Okay, that's what you were trying to warn me of, and I totally missed it. Thank you. So as soon as Sallyport 2 is available, then we need to get Mr. Smith and Mr. Patterson in a Sallyport 2, right?
Right.
Okay, all right. I will try to take that up. How about Blaine Eugene Dodson? Is he still on the docket, and is he here? They say that.
Here.
All right, let's take up your case, sir. We're on the record in 21 TR 2141, State of Kansas versus Blaine Eugene Dodson.
Yes, ma'am.
Please announce appearances for the state.
Jared Regier on behalf of the state, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Regier. Mr. Dodson is here in person and pro se. Mr. Dodson, this is called a pay or appear. You were supposed to have your balance paid today or be here in court, and it looks like you haven't paid anything on your case. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I can have it paid the 31st. I've kind of had some really bad financial bad problems, but I did some extra work. I got some money coming in. It's supposed to be the 31st. It will be the 31st. I can pay it.
Okay. Now, would you rather I extend your payment date or turn this over to private collections?
Extend my payment date. I don't want it on collections. I'll pay it the 31st.
31st of July?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right. And of course, if you haven't paid, you don't have to be here. You understand that?
If I paid, I don't have to be here, right?
You don't have to come back again. But right now,
Okay,
we'll go
yeah.
ahead, rather than make you go into collections where they charge more and you have a collection agent after you and all that, I will go ahead and extend your pay or appear to,
We can put it on July 31st, Your Honor. That's
Okay.
a Monday.
is July 31st going to work for you, or do you need an extra day? Is that the day you get paid, or is that the day you can pay?
That's the actual day I get paid. I probably need an extra day.
Can you?
I have it paid that day. Well, I have to come to El Dorado pay it, or can I pay it over the phone?
You can pay it online through the computer. You can't pay it by telephone, but I can give you.
I'll either have to go to the library and do that, or either come to El Dorado. I'm in Wichita, but
Well, which would you?
either way, I'll get it paid the 31st.
All right, well, write down the website. It's paykscourts.com.
Okay,
Or you can call back on the 31st and get it from the clerk if that works better for you.
okay.
Your Honor,
Yes.
given what the defendant has indicated today about his ability to pay and looks like about 3 weeks down the line, I might respectfully suggest that if the case is, in lieu of having another hearing, if the case is not paid by honor about that time, I'll defer to the court on the exact date that the case should go to collections at that time.
I think that's a good idea. We'll do that. So what I'm gonna do, Mr. Dodson, is if you don't have it paid by midnight between the 31st and the 1st, we'll send it to collections and you don't come to court either way. How's that?
Okay, I promise you I'll pay it.
All right, well, I trust you will, so it's, I show 458. And if it's not paid by midnight of August 1st, and I'm never certain how to say that, but so I say midnight between the 31st and the 1st. It'll just automatically go to collection. So why don't we do that, Savannah, instead of setting it for hearing?
Okay, sure.
All right. Okay, now, like I said, if you can just remember paykscourts.com, or if you forget that, you can call the clerk and they can remind you, or you can write it down if you have a pencil.
Okay.
Or you can just drive it over if you've got a valid license. If you don't, have someone drive you over. I don't want you getting a new charge.
I can get it right.
All right, thank you, sir. Anything else we can help you with before I let you go?
No, ma'am, and thank you.
You're welcome. Then you're excused at this time, Mr. Dodson, and we'll be in recess. Mr. Patterson, how can we proceed? How can we help you proceed?
Judge, I was going to see if I can do a breakout room with Sallyport 2, if that is available. It's not, so.
They've gone into another hearing, another court.
Al, how can we do that breakout room then?
When we get done with the other hearing, I'll let you know.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
We really need to start getting these guys in by 8, they're here at 7:30 and we need to get them done by 9 so before the other cards start.
All right, well, we'll sure try to do that. Mr. Patterson, is there anything else you'd like to take up at this time, or do you need another breakout room with someone else?
With whichever assistant CA is going to be helping me out, if I could have them for a little bit, I can be ready on some cases.
All right, and I will tell you, Miss Wheeler is here on that Smith case. Once you can get into breakout room 2, your client is here as well. And he's the warrant to show cause, plus he's got another case. And last time we talked about global plea or global something, because he's got a bunch of other cases, I think not on my docket, just giving you the heads up.
Felony case also, yes.
Okay, so you didn't need a heads up. All right, so Mr. Regier, are you going to be the one that Mr. Patterson talks to first?
I believe so, Your Honor.
All right, if you could give them a breakout room, please, Savannah. And do we have here, we have someone else, Miss Norris, you're still here for the state, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. How about Mackenzie Hill, are you here? I'm looking for Mackenzie Grace Hill.
Your Honor, I don't see her on the screen, or at least not labeled as such.
Who is on the telephone? Someone's calling in on a telephone. Who are you? Last 4 numbers, 9467.
This is Michael Coulter.
Michael what?
Michael Coulter, Kolter.
Mr. Coulter, can you not appear with a screen?
I attempted to download the Zoom app, and I have the Apple ID said it can take up to 24 hours to reset my password to be able to download the app.
I had never heard that. That's okay. And you're not in El Dorado, or where you go to the courthouse?
No, I'm in Gordon, Kansas, between Augusta and Douglas.
Yes, I'm familiar. Let's see. Have you talked to your attorney yet, Mr. Patterson?
I have not, ma'am.
And Judge Ricky didn't tell you to appear at the Sally Port when he saw you last time at the Sally Port?
No, he told me that I could appear over Zoom.
All right. Well, Mr. Patterson will be available sometime this morning for you, so if you get that password loaded or whatever you need to do, I do need to try to see you by face, but we'll do what we have to do for now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Your Honor, it appears that Miss Hill has arrived.
All right, we will be on the record then in 2023 CR 71, State of Kansas versus Mackenzie Grace Hill. Amber Norris for the state, Miss Hill in person and pro se. Miss Hill, when you were here on February 15th and again on 4/24, you told me you were you told the court you were in front of that you were hiring one of the attorneys at O'Hara and O'Hara. Are they here today, any of those attorneys?
I'm gonna have to ask for a court-appointed counsel due to a couple new summons I've acquired.
A couple of summons you've acquired? You mean you have more cases than this one now?
Yeah, they just came in via sheriff just a couple weeks ago.
And did the sheriff serve you for Butler County or another county?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you know the case numbers for that?
I believe it's one is BU 22 CR 000406. And then
Well, it looks like you have a 01.
there you go. It's a
401.
so I have them wrote down on this one. I don't have my paperwork right in front of me. Okay.
Oh my.
One is a theft of a trash bin and another is a criminal threat.
All right. Savannah, if you can pull that up with me, it looks like we have a 2023 CR 238 that was filed May 11, and that is pending. Theft of property or services.
That is the one I got, and that was one of them, and the other is a criminal threat.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna have to walk through those a little slower than you can give them to me. So, Ms. Norris, we have a 2023 CR 238. As she said, theft.
That's correct, Your Honor. It's scheduled for September 11th at 9 o'clock. And then she has another one set September 11th at 9. It's a violation of protective order 23 CR 163. And then she has two cases actually today. 23 CR 71, which is possession of a marijuana case, and then 23 CR 183, which is a theft case.
That's a theft. Well,
and actually, that one's actually this afternoon, Your Honor. I'm sorry. It is also today, but it's a felony theft case, so it's actually on the 2:30 docket today.
Okay, let me see if I've got all of them. Then I've got a 238. I've got a 183. I've got a 182. You didn't mention 182. Is that still pending?
Your Honor, she has multiple pending cases, but I was just trying to talk to you about ones that are actually on your docket. 23 CR 182 is a pending criminal threat case. 23 CR 89 is a non-residential burglary case. And 22 CR 401 is possession of opiate case.
Okay, so those are all felonies then?
Yes.
All right. So, okay.
But yes, she's got about 7 open cases at the moment.
Well, that's what I thought it looks like. Okay, and so the 183 being a felony, we'll probably just leave that on the 130 docket. Ms. Norris, would you suggest?
Yes, Your Honor, it's actually scheduled on the 2:30 docket today with Judge Satterfield.
Okay. All right, are you keeping all of those straight, Ms. Hill?
Yes, ma'am.
It sounded like you were when you were trying to tell me about them. So Miss Norris, the ones on my docket, as I understand it, are 238, 163, and 71.
Yes, Your Honor. The 71 is the only one that's actually scheduled for today's date. But the other two that you mentioned are on your September 11th.
All right,
date.
let's move this one to September 11th as well. They're all at 9 a.m. Make sure you get that down, Miss Hill. So that's the case ending in 283, the case ending in 163, and the case ending in 71. And do you have an attorney in any of these cases?
I don't believe so. You may have appointed counsel the last time I was.
What do you show, Miss Norris, if that's?
Your Honor, she told the court on 6/14 in both of the 238 and the 163 that she would hire her own attorney. And then in the 23 CR 71 case, she basically had said the same, both the first appearance and the next control hearing.
I do show that. Okay, so no attorneys. And are you working at this time, Miss Hill? Do you have a job?
Yes, I do.
Where do you work?
I work at Wichita Attendant Care Services.
Wichita Attendant Care Services?
Yes.
And do you work 40 hours a week or more?
No, ma'am, not at the moment.
All right. How much do you get paid per month?
Approximately, I would make 12 an hour, and I work 30 hours a week. Sometimes I can pick up extra hours, so it
All right,
varies.
so you get about $360 a week?
Yes. I try to pick up some hours, so sometimes more.
Do you pay any kind of rent or mortgage?
No, ma'am.
Okay, someone pays that for you?
Yes. I currently stay with my dad.
I'm sorry?
I stay with my father, yes.
Okay. Do you have any debts or bills you do pay?
Just my car insurance,
Okay, and how much is that per month?
$125.
125. And are you married or single?
Single.
Do you have any children?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to appoint on all three cases, if I haven't, on the 238, the 163, and the 71, Attorney Darren, D-A-R-R-E-N, Patterson, P-A-T-T-E-R-S-O-N. Please call Mr. Patterson after this hearing at 316-322-7700.
7700.
Yes, and give him your contact information. And make sure you talk to him before September 11th about all of these cases. So we'll need a little bit of time to get all the paperwork appointing him in each of those cases, the 238, the 163, and the 71. And he'll need some time to talk to you after he gets the reports. So don't delay getting a hold of him. Don't wait until September.
Okay. I won't, but I should wait probably a couple hours for him to get over with his court.
No, you can call him right now. He's got staff that can at least take your contact information.
Okay, perfect. I will do that.
Now, I don't know how it is that you are still on bond. Is she on bond in each of these cases, to your knowledge, Ms. Norris?
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't know how it is that you're still on bond with allegations that you keep repeating new cases, but I suspect you probably about pushed your luck on that. That if you pick up any new charges, you're probably going to end up sitting in jail on all your cases until they're resolved. So please be mindful of that. Don't have any contact with any co-defendants. Don't go around any of these places that you've allegedly victimized or people. Walk a straight, careful line between now and your next hearing date and until these are all resolved, if you don't want to stay in jail. Okay? All right. Anything further that we need to take up from your side, Ms. Hill?
No.
Ms. Norris from the state?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
You're welcome. Then we'll be in recess on the Hill matter in case number 23 CR 71. Sallyport 2 looks like it's open.
It is open. I sent Mr. Patterson a chat, but I don't think he got it, so.
He is
Okay.
in with Mr. Regier talking about all the other cases.
Okay, well, when he gets out, I've got Dylan Smith set up back there for him.
Okay.
Your Honor, I have Markel Johnson as pro se.
Ms. Johnson, are you here today? Markel Johnson?
I don't see him listed.
And I show a zero balance. So his was the pay or appear. Did he pay then? I think that's what that was. Let me see.
Your Honor, this is
Oh, he was going to retain, wasn't he?
23 CR 21.
All right. let's go on.
Markel Lontis Johnson. It
Let's
is
go.
a control hearing, and he claimed that he was going to hire his own attorney.
Then let's take that up. We are on the record in 2023 CR 21, State of Kansas versus Markel Lontis Johnson. Amber Norris for the state. Mr. Johnson, are you here? Mr. Johnson fails to appear. First appearance, it looks like he was in the Sedgwick County Jail back in January. And Pat Stevenson's of A Mama bail bonds confirmed that. But somehow he made bond and he failed to appear February 3rd. Some emails concerning him on later in the month. April 14th, he was apparently in front of Judge Rickey with a $5,000 cash or surety bond and no contact with victim, and was told to appear today in front of this court. Apparently he's on a $5,000 bond. Recommendations from the state.
Then I request bond forfeiture bench warrant. And I might actually even suggest a no bond hold in that he has had previous cases and it does have a tendency to fail to appear.
That will be the order of the court. A bond forfeiture. No bond to be set, defendant to be held until he sees the court. So no bond hold. Further, we're in recess on Johnson. How about 20, let's go on the record in 2021, TR 649, State of Kansas versus Stephen Lauren Moss. Amber Norris for the state. Mr. Moss, are you here? Or did he pay? I believe as of Friday, he owed 308, but that can always change quickly. Looks like he still owes, doesn't he? Savannah.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Norris, do you want to issue a warrant and set this over, or do you want to turn it over to collections? What's the state's recommendation?
Your Honor, at this point, I'd probably just suggest to collections.
Okay. That will be the order of the court. This matter is transferred to collections for collections. Nothing further. We'll be in recess on Moss. about Dakota Scott. Scott, are you here? We will be on the record in 2022 TR 4204. The state of Kansas appearing by Amber Norris and Dakota Scott fails to appear.
Your Honor, it does appear that there is a box that notes Dakota Scott, but and I can see people, but I sure can't hear anyone.
Oh, I see.
Here,
Thank
I
you.
think it's just his volume.
It's, who is that appearing? Is Dakota Scott there?
Yeah.
Okay, I see you. I barely hear you. Mr. Scott, let's see. So you still have Darren Patterson representing you?
Your Honor, it looks like there was a notation at the last hearing of some sort of a conflict because maybe Darren was mother's attorney for something about a divorce. The court appointed Darren, noting that they do not consider prior representation of mother necessarily a conflict of interest. And
Okay,
then the clerk said something about not appointing Darren on an unclassified misdemeanor. And then you took away the appointment of Mr. Patterson, and we set it to today, and the defendant was to appear and keep on the previous bond. So,
well, that puts me in a bit of a dilemma. I do see where Judge Hart on April 18th did state that the court was made aware we do not appoint attorneys on unclassified misdemeanors. I have not been made aware of that until now, apparently. This is a charge that could carry anywhere from 30 days to 6 months in jail.
Your Honor, I was not aware. I thought that the court could appoint on anything that actually could involve jail time.
I thought I had to appoint. Is that?
Well, if they qualify, that was my understanding as well. I don't know. I was just reading the notes that Mr. Revere took.
Yes, and as you read them, then I looked at Judge Hart's and they are the same. So I'm not sure where that came from, but so Mr. Scott, what is your plan at this time on the issue of attorney? Do you want to hire an attorney, apply for court appointed, represent yourself, apply for diversion? Do you understand what all of that means, or do I need to go back over that? Would you like for me to? If you're speaking, sir, I'm not hearing you.
Can I apply for diversion?
You want to apply for court appointed?
Diversion.
Oh, for diversion. And do you understand that diversion means that you turn in an application with an application fee, and if you're eligible, they'll send you a contract. You'll send the contract back with whatever fee they tell you to. And if you do whatever they tell you to do, then they'll dismiss the charges against you, or the charge.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to do?
To read your charges.
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing you. Are you speaking?
Can you read me my charges?
You have one charge, and it is called operating a motor vehicle without lawful registration or with expired tag, an unclassified misdemeanor. And the maximum penalties are anywhere from $50 to $2,500 in fines, although I rarely see the maximum imposed. And there is the potential of 30 days up to 6 months, although probation is usually granted. But now with diversion, you could get it all dismissed if and not have to keep coming back to court if that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I want to do diversion.
All right. So on the issue of attorney, are you going to represent yourself then and apply for diversion?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I will maintain your not guilty plea. And that you're going to apply for diversion, but sir, please do that today. Please call the county attorney's office and get that started. Do you have their number?
No.
It's 316-321-6999. Call them and tell them you'd like to talk to someone about getting diversion. And whoever they have can walk you through that. But make sure if you're going to apply, you get that application in today. Do not wait until the next court date or a few weeks before, because it takes time. All right, so let's give him a little bit of time, maybe that August, late August, early September.
For September 18th.
All right, September 18th at 9, Ms. Norris, does that work?
Yes, Your Honor, that'd be fine.
Okay. All right, so that's what we'll do, but because I'm setting it over so far, Mr. Scott, you've really got to get that taken care of sooner. Don't wait. All right, you can go at this time unless there's anything further, Ms. Norris.
Nothing from the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. You are excused, Mr. Scott. Thank you. Now I have a Ms. Smalley on a motion to revoke diversion. Is Ms. Smalley here?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Can you start your, oh, there you are. I see you now. We are on the record in 2022 TR 1805, State of Kansas versus Riley Marie Smalley. The State of Kansas appearing by Amber Norris, Ms. Smalley in person and pro se. This matter comes on for hearing for a motion to revoke diversion, allegations being the defendant failed to pay costs, fines in full, having made no payments with a balance still owing of $408. And the allegation the defendant has failed to provide verification of vehicle insurance, and the defendant has failed to complete her online educational course. Now, Ms. Smalley, I see in the agreement for pretrial diversion filed October 12th of 2022 that you indicated you understood the terms of the diversion and that a motion may be filed to terminate participation in the diversion. They talk about notice, and you've obviously been given notice as you're here today. And in number 10 of your agreement, you knowingly forwent the, I'll quote it, knowing the foregoing, I freely and voluntarily waive my right to counsel. So you acknowledged and understood in writing that you had the right to be represented by an attorney, that you could hire one of your own, or you could have one court appointed, but you chose to represent yourself and waived that right. So is that still your position? Do you agree that
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So how do you want to respond to the allegations that you failed to comply with the terms of your diversion?
And honestly, life just got in the way. I just had a baby. He'll be 5 months on Wednesday. And last week I did turn in the proof of insurance and paid those fines last Thursday, I do believe. The only thing I haven't done is the driver's course.
Okay, so you violated your diversion, but you've taken care of 2 of the violations since the motion was filed. Ms. Norris, does the court or does the state still want to pursue the motion today, or do you want to give her time to complete her course? How would you like to proceed?
Your Honor, the state would be willing to allow her a little bit more time to finish the educational course. I know that the case is paid in full as of July 6th. I don't necessarily have proof of the insurance, or at least it's not notated that I can see. But if she thinks that she can get the educational course and the insurance turned in within, by court's next date. State would be okay with a continuance for her to complete. I mean, she's very close to being done, but she's gonna have to finish everything up before the next court date. I just don't know whether or not that's a possibility for her in her current circumstances.
Well, Miss Smalley, what do you have to say about that class? Did you check to see when you could do it?
I can do it anytime. I can just request the day off if I need to, or if there's a way I could fit it in, I will be able to fit it in.
All right, how about if we set it over to that August, what was that date? You said you could put a few more in August. What was that?
We can do August 28th.
August 28th. Now, get the course done. Ms. Norris may dismiss your case and not make you come back. But if we come back August 28th and it's not done, I'm not going to be granting any more continuances.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, does that work for the state, Ms. Norris?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, then that will be the order. And Ms. Smalley, you're excused at this time, but go sign up for that class and do it, please.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you may go. No, Ms. Norris, do you see any more we can do without Mr. Patterson?
I was just looking, Your Honor. I think we may have exhausted the non-Darren list. Yeah, I'm not seeing any that I don't think belong to Darren.
I don't show anything else either.
All right, Savannah, could you let Mr. Patterson know that we need to address Mr. Smith, that we've got, or that we have, I think, at least 3 witnesses waiting, plus Mr. Smith and Sallyport too.
Sure, I'll try to pull him out of his breakout room now, bring him back here. Okay, he's back now.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. Do you need time to speak to Mr. Smith there in Sallyport too?
I will, Judge.
All right, thank you. Savannah, if you could please put them in a breakout.
Okay.
Savannah, could you look on Mr. Smith in the 22 CR 324?
Okay.
And confirm that Darren Patterson was appointed on May 16th. Or did he retain him? Maybe he retained him. Looks like he didn't qualify and Mr. Patterson was retained. If you could confirm whether that's accurate or not.
Yes, that's correct. So he was denied the application for appointed counsel, but there's an entry of appearance from Darren on 5/18, so he was retained.
Okay, and did he hire him on the 367 then?
Let's see. Yes, he also retained him on the 22 CR 367.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Patterson, are we ready to proceed?
Judge, I just wanted to find out this Dylan Smith, is it Mr. Regeer's or Miss Norris's case?
Counsel, I'm not sure on the answer to that. Mr. Regier, Ms. Norris? It's a DV battery, warrant to show cause plus a control on an interference with law enforcement in the other case.
And then,
Your Honor, I believe I am the Assistant County Attorney appearing on this case today.
then if I could have a brief breakout room with Mr. Regier, Judge, and I don't know is it Sarah Wheeler today?
Sarah Wheeler, and then I believe there are two officers, are there not, Mr. Regier?
One moment, Your Honor. Your Honor, I am showing a multiple subpoenas in this case. It looks like one was to Officer Caitlin Brenner, and the other one appears to be for Kit Russell, and then a third individual, one Ashley Betts.
And Miss Sarah Wheeler is here for Kit Russell today, Mr. Patterson.
Could I have a brief breakout room with Mr. Regier and Miss Wheeler, Your Honor?
Very well. Savannah, if you would. And Mr. Patterson, I show that you're retained on these, but it looks like he may have some other cases pending. Are you aware of anything else?
I'm aware that he has a felony pending, Judge. He's been appointed Mr. Watts on that case.
All right, thank you. Okay, so breakout room with Mr. Regier, Miss Wheeler, and Mr. Patterson. Are we ready to proceed?
Ready to go on the record, Judge, yes.
Very well. We are on the record in 2022 CR 324 and 22 CR 367, both captioned State of Kansas versus Dylan James Smith. One captioned Dylan James Shin Smith, that's the 367. Please announce appearances.
Edward here on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Dylan Smith. Mr. Smith does appear from the courthouse Sallyport. Judge, this is, as the court announced, a case concerning a probation violation hearing as well as a new charge. And then as the court had also, I think, determined there's a pending felony case also And the felony case is cited within the warrant to show cause in this case, which is 23 CR 178. The facts of the warrant to show cause are basically the same facts that deal with the felony case. Judge, I would tell the court that I am requesting a continuance in both these cases for purposes of determining how the felony case was going to end up. It has a court hearing and it's been set for preliminary hearing one time. Judge Rickey granted one continuance for that preliminary hearing. And now that preliminary hearing is set for August 24. So I would tell the court that my client is currently reporting to Kit Russell, his probation officer. He's also reported to me that he's obtained his BIP assessment intake and is scheduled for BIP classes. His first one is on this Wednesday. That he is otherwise, as far as I can tell, complete compliant with reporting on his probation and doing those things. The one thing that I guess should be pretty fundamental, I just didn't catch, is that the basis of this case is 23 CR 178, that the officer Caitlin Bruner is a primary witness in that. I don't have any of the reports from 23 CR 178 to basically have some background to determine what is relevant, what's not, or how to make any objections, or whether the other witness is even here, which could cause a lot of hearsay issues. So I guess I'm requesting a continuance for a couple of reasons: to get reports so that I know how to proceed on the warrant to show cause, but also I think the warrant to show cause is going to work itself out eventually, given the felony and how it works out.
Mr. Aguirre, are all of your witnesses here?
Your Honor, it would appear there are multiple witnesses in today's hearing. This is, I understand this is Ms. Norris's case, although I am the Assistant County Attorney appearing on this case. After conferring with Ms. Wheeler and Mr. Patterson, I don't believe the state has any objection to a continuance at this time. And in looking over the request for revocation in 324, it looks like it does refer to 23 CR 178. If counsel is requesting reports from that, I'm not sure if the court wants to find that he is a counsel of record in that case or not. I do have that other file in front of me, and it does not look like there is either a retained or a appointing counsel in that particular matter.
Is there an Ashley Dawn Bentz summoned here today, subpoenaed? Ashley Dawn Bentz. Her subpoena was mailed by the sheriff to an address on River Road in El Dorado, as well as tack down mail. Well, here's where I am on this case. This warrant to show cause has been pending since it looks like September 24th of 22. Months. Mr. Patterson looks like entered May 18th. Seems to me that we ought to get this matter resolved. The state subpoenaed a number of witnesses to be here today, and at least the majority of them are here.
Judge?
Yes?
The original case was filed in September. The warrant to show cause was filed April 4, 2023.
Oh, okay. And the state does not object to continuing this further?
Not at this point, Your Honor. I don't believe. It looks like as Mr. Patterson has indicated, it looks like the request for revocation was filed with the court approximately 3 months ago, back in April. I will have it noted for the record that the state will be eager to proceed to final disposition on 324 warrant to show cause, since studying this matter over will require issuing new subpoenas.
How about this other case, this 367? Hasn't that been pending since September 15th of 2022 or thereabout?
Yeah, it looks like the first appearance on that case was on September 23rd. Looks like that was before Judge Crum, where the county attorney appeared.
And the charging document alleges it occurred September 15th and he appeared a week later, September 23rd.
It would appear so, Your Honor.
So that case has been pending for 10 months with no resolution.
It would appear so, Your Honor.
And again, the state has no objection to continuing that case again.
Not at this point, Your Honor, but as previously indicated, the state will be prepared, or rather will be eager to reach a final disposition at the next hearing.
And Mr. Patterson, you're saying you don't know if he even has an attorney in his felony case that's set for prelim August 24th?
Judge, I watched it and Mr. Watts is his attorney, appointed attorney.
Okay. And you're wanting to set this for some date after August 24th?
Judge, if we could use the date that the court's next setting cases, we should have a very good idea what's happening in that felony case.
Well, I don't want to come in here August 20, whatever, 27th or whenever we've set those, just to set it over to see what happens at arraignment, just to set it over to see what happens.
Well, Judge, I would, by that point, I'm hoping that between Mr. Watts, Ms. Norris, and I, we can figure something out on all the cases.
I think that's similar to what the notes said today, but I will go ahead and somewhat reluctantly set this over one more time. Savannah, what was that late August date you had?
We can do August 28th.
August 28th at 8 a.m. Mr. Smith, I want you back at the Sallyport. At the Sallyport at the courthouse, August 28th at 8 o'clock for both these cases. And
yes, ma'am.
Trust will get some resolution maybe at that time. Anything further, counsel?
Sorry, thank you.
I should ask, is that date going to work with you, Officer Bruner? I see you're one of the subpoenaed witnesses. Is there any reason why you can't be here at that date and time?
No, ma'am, that should be able to work.
Okay, anyone else, Ms. Wheeler, that might make it better to go back to Mr. Russell if he's available. If not, one of you will be, I trust.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Okay, and then that'll also give you a chance, Mr. Regier, to see if that other witness is going to show up. You could request a material witness warrant if necessary, since she's failed to appear today after service, but.
They'll probably need that witness for the preliminary hearing, Judge, so.
Okay. All right, so somebody will want to find her. Okay, if there's nothing further, we'll be in recess on both of Mr. Smith's case. Mr. Smith and all folks subpoenaed just for that hearing are excused at this time.
Judge, I have Harold Todd.
All right, can we do Mr. Todd at this time? Do you need to talk to him, Mr. Patterson? Okay. Mr. Patterson, could you take up Mr. Todd in a breakout room followed by Mr. Clem?
Judge, I will take any person you want me to in a breakout room, so I can do that right now.
All right, looks like Mr. Todd's in there first, so. Savannah, if you put Mr. Todd in Sallyport 2 with Mr. Patterson in a breakout room. Savannah, could you slip them a note that they need to come back? We still have a lot of people to cover today.
Yes, I will try and pull them back now.
Thank you.
Yep.
Your Honor,
Yes,
I was requested to join the meeting.
yes, Mr. Patterson. I'm concerned about the number of people on the docket today. And I wonder if we can maybe move along on this case today.
Yes, Judge, I have a number of cases that are ready if you wanted to start doing some of those.
Okay, well, I also want to clear the Sally port. Are you thinking that you need more time with Mr. Todd, that you could resolve this today?
We are ready to proceed on Mr. Todd.
Okay. We're on the record in 2022 CR 61, State of Kansas versus Harold Dean Todd. Please announce appearances.
Jared Regier, on behalf of the state, forgive me for still being muted, Your Honor.
Darren Patterson, Your Honor, appear on behalf of Harold Todd. Mr. Todd does appear from the courthouse Sallyport. Your Honor, in this case, previously, Mr. Todd was represented by a different counsel. I've been appointed to represent him recently. I have reached out to Ms. Norris to discuss certain plea negotiations. She has responded back to me with that diversion should be the way that this case proceeds. I did discuss that with my client here during the breakout room. I believe that that is a strong possibility, so that he's already applied. We just have to get the diversion contract worked out. So we'd ask court to allow it to be set over to the September date, and it should go on a diversion.
Well, I understand that you're relatively new to the case, Mr. Patterson, but he had his first appearance back in March of 2022, so we're about a year and a half into this. I'm curious, Mr. Andrews was appointed from the get-go. Do you have a conflict to your knowledge in this case?
Judge, I saw that too, and I was trying to figure out why, and I went through the entire witness list, and I could not find anything that would show a conflict, so I'm not sure how Mr. Andrews got appointed.
Okay, well, that's where I was too on it. Okay, so Mr. Aguirre, do you have any objections to setting this over one last time?
Not at this point, Your Honor. What Mr. Patterson has already detailed regarding diversion does appear to comport with my understanding and notes in the file.
All right, Mr. Todd, you've told me before you were going to do diversion. Like I said, this case has been around a year and a half. Are you having, yeah, sorry, that. Mr. Andrews was representing you somewhere along the way.
Your Honor, if
He
it,
told me July 25th of 2022 he was applying for diversion. Yes, Mr. Regier?
if it's any assistance to the court, I'm showing that the matter was previously set for control on March 6th of this year. It looks like Mr. Andrews did appear on that hearing. However, when the matter was reset for first appearances back in April of this year, looks like Mr. Sweeney was on that case at the time. The hearing was before Judge Satterfield, and that was when Mr. Patterson was appointed.
Right. I'm seeing that but March 6th, he said he'd applied for diversion. So he should have had plenty of time by now to finish it. Then I'm not sure why there was a first appearance in front of another judge. Apparently he failed to appear. Something happened.
That is what my notes suggest, Your Honor, that there was a failure to appear on the March 6th date.
And then on April 12th, he was not seeing eye to eye with Mr. Andrews. But so Mr. Todd, you have delayed this. We need to get this resolved. You're still wanting to apply for diversion, or you've applied for diversion and you've been accepted. Is that right, counsel?
Judge, there was a acceptance. I understand that there was a diversion agreement. It's the contents of the agreement that caused some problems, but I believe those can be worked out.
All right. Well, it seems like there's always some conflict or some catch. So I'll set this over, but this can be the last time we set it over for diversion or for new counsel or anything like that. They want to set it in September. What do you have, Savannah? Did you say, is that what you said, Mr. Patterson?
Please, Your Honor.
Okay.
We can do September 18th.
September 18th, be back here at 8 a.m., sir, unless Mr. Patterson tells you otherwise. If you get everything done that you're supposed to on that diversion and get your diversion turned back in, it could be that you won't have to come back and see me in September, but unless your attorney tells you otherwise, be here or you will have a warrant again. Any questions about any of that, Mr. Todd?
No, ma'am.
All
No,
right,
Your Honor.
Mr. Patterson, he's supposed to be staying away from the victims. I trust you'll remind him of that.
We have discussed that, Judge.
Thank you, sir. All right, we'll be in recess on Todd. And then how about Clem? Are we able to do Clem that's at the Sally Port? Have you talked to him yet, Mr. Patterson?
I have not.
Let's see what Mr. Clem's looking at.
Have him ready.
All right.
And Judge, who was that again?
Oh, I said Clem, but I must have said that wrong. What's his name?
Joshua Clinton.
Clinton. Okay, as I say, there is no Clem. So this is Joshua Clinton with speeding insurance and no driver's license. So you want to go on Savannah, you want to put them in the breakout room?
And Judge, there's an amended information.
Oh, there he is.
I'm ready for the breakout room.
You got the insurance paid, I presume?
Sure.
Oh, you got proof? Got proof? Okay, all right. So if we could put them in a breakout room, please, Savannah?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, we are back on the record in 2022 TR 2160, State of Kansas versus Joshua Allen Clinton. Please announce appearances.
Jared Regier on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson, appear on behalf of Joshua Clinton. Mr. Clinton does appear from the courthouse Sallyport. Judge, on the amended information, my client is going to enter a plea of guilty to count 3, no valid driver's license. I believe the state in return would dismiss the speeding charge.
Mr. Regier?
Yeah.
Your Honor, I have not had the opportunity to discuss this case with counsel. However, at this time, the state does not have any objection to proceeding forward along those lines.
All right. Mr. Clinton, how do you wish to plead to count 3, driving without a driver's license on July 19, 2022 in Butler County, Kansas?
I was guilty.
Is anyone making you enter this plea of guilty today by any kind of threat or promise other than your plea agreement?
Nope.
You understand that with this plea, you're waiving your right to trial as well as your right to appeal conviction.
Yes, ma'am.
And you were driving in Butler County on July 19th, 2022 without a license?
Yeah, but I didn't realize it at the time because my birthday is June 5th and I didn't realize it was expired until I got pulled over.
I see. And do you remember where you were pulled over?
It had been between Cassidy and the service area out there.
And that's all still in Butler County, isn't it, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, in looking over the ticket, it looks like the stop occurred on I-35 at mile marker 93. My understanding is that is in the very northeast corner, rather, of Butler County, but still within county lines.
All right. So I will have jurisdiction, and I do find a basis for the plea, accepting the plea. I find Mr. Clinton guilty of count 3 and dismiss count 1 on motion of the state. Count 2 already dismissed for proof of insurance. So recommendations for sentencing, Mr. Regier, on count 3.
Your Honor, on the sole account of no valid driver's license, it would recommend a $100 fine, $108 court costs. I'm not sure if Mr. Patterson is appointed in this case, but assuming he is, I'll of course defer to the court on the issue of attorney fees. So they would further recommend 120 days underlying sentence, 12 months non-reporting probation. And as to the point that I believe the defendant previously indicated about what he may or may not have known, my understanding is that this violation is a strict liability offense.
Mr. Patterson, anything you'd like to say before sentence is pronounced?
Would ask court to adopt the recommendation, Your Honor.
Mr. Clinton, where do you work?
Right now I don't work because I just had back surgery 3 months ago. I broke my back in 3 places and I got about 6 months. What they said I wasn't supposed to do anything.
All right, I will waive attorney fees. The fine will be $100. The court costs will be $108. The sentence will be 120 days suspended, provided you successfully complete a 12-month non-reporting probation with the conditions that you do not violate any laws for a year and that you pay this total of $208. Do you need some time to pay that, sir?
Yeah, probably 90 days maybe.
90 days will be fine. I'll give you 90 days to pay. If you do not have that paid in 90 days, the costs and fees will be transferred to a collection agent, and that's like the folks that come after people if they have a unpaid credit card or something like that. You know, it's a collection agent, and they can call you and hound you until they get the money. So
Okay, do I just come up here to the county clerk's office inside here?
that'd be fine to come up here and pay it, and you can make payments on it. You don't have to pay it all at once. You can also pay it online. The clerk can give you the online site before you leave today if you like.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. If there's nothing further, we'll be in recess. Mr. Regier, anything further?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. If I heard correctly, this is a 120-day underlying sentence the court is ordering.
Isn't that what you recommended? That is what I ordered.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes. Mr. Patterson, anything further before we adjourn this hearing?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then the defendant is excused at this time. Thank you, Mr. Clinton. Okay. Michael, okay, who do you want to take up, Mr. Patterson, any particular order?
Gregory Hucker, Your Honor.
Okay. We're on the record in 2023 TR 1493, State of Kansas versus Gregory Lee Hucker. Please announce appearances.
Jared Regier on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Gregory Hucker. Mr. Hucker does appear via Zoom audio visual. Judge, this is a case after talking to Mr. Regier, it appears that I'm still needing a CDR as well as a narrative or a PRD. Mr. Regier was going to check into that, so we'd be asking for a continuance, Your Honor.
Actually, Mr. Patterson, this looks like it's his first appearance. I'm not sure how he got on this docket, but in any event, Mr. Hucker is charged with driving while suspended. Mr. Hucker, your attorneys probably explained to you that that's a misdemeanor, which means if convicted, you could serve up to a maximum 6 months in jail and pay a fine anywhere from $100 to $1,000. On the count to speeding 76 and a 65, as Mr. Patterson again has probably told you, that's a traffic infraction. It does not carry jail time, but rather a scheduled fine of 76 and a 65 would be $51. You understand what you're accused of and the possible penalties, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Patterson, you'd like to enter a plea of not guilty, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
We will enter a not guilty. And how much time did you said you want this set over for?
Judge, if we can use the September date of September 18th.
All right, if we can set that over September 18th. Savannah,
Yes, that works, Your Honor.
8 a.m., Mr. Hucker, unless your attorney tells you otherwise. You'll need to be back here by Zoom.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, anything further, counsel? Oh, yes, I don't think he's been processed. Looks like he was summoned. And the summons, I think, came back unserved. So, Mr. Regier, do you show that he needs to be processed?
Your Honor, my understanding is that at least today's hearing was, does appear to be indicated on the summons. So it would appear that there is still the issue of booking as well as bond in this matter.
And Judge, if I can inquire my client real quick. Hey, Greg, on the day that you were pulled over, did they arrest you?
No.
Okay, so Judge, I would agree, he does need to be processed.
All right, I'll set the bond at 1,000 OR. And do you want to go into the breakout room with him, or do you want him to go in there and set up a date and time with the deputy at Sallyport 2 on his own?
Judge, if I could drop into the breakout room just for a minute, I'll probably just do it for a minute and then come back out and let them finish.
All right, thank you. So Savannah, if you'll put the three of them, Mr. Patterson, Mr. Hucker, and Sallyport 2 in a breakout room. The person showing is Zach H. What's your name?
Zachary Havard, Your Honor.
What was that last name? Havard?
Yes, ma'am. A lot of people mistake it for Harvard.
Yeah, I see. No R, only one R, not two. Zachary Havard, and then Tasha C. Who are you, please? Is that Tasha C-A-Y maybe? Tasha K. I see that on the list.
Yes, Tasia K.
Thank you. Michael Coulter, did you find a way to get a video going? It looks like I see you. I have you on here twice. I have a telephone and now I have, it looks like video. Michael Coulter? Hey, you got it worked out. Now talk to me so I can make sure we don't echo. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. And it doesn't sound like I have an echo. A lot of times when I have you on here twice, it echoes. But I think we're going to be fine. Have you had a chance to talk to your attorney? Mr. Coulter?
I have not. No.
All right. And we'll see what we can do about that. All right, Mr. Patterson, are you ready for someone else?
Cordell Pinkerton, Your Honor.
Let's take up Mr. Pinkerton. On the record in 2023, CR 26, State of Kansas versus Cordell Warren Pinkerton. Please announce appearances.
Jared Regier on behalf of the state, Your Honor.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Cordell Pinkerton. Mr. Pinkerton does appear via Zoom audio visual. Would announce at this time, Your Honor, Mr. Pinkerton is going to enter a plea of no contest to count 1, possession of marijuana. State's agreed to dismiss count 2.
That's your agreement, Mr. Regier?
That is my understanding, Your Honor.
And Mr. Pinkerton, that is your agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead then, sir, to count 1, possession of marijuana?
No contest.
Is anyone making you enter this plea today by any kind of threat or promise other than your plea agreement?
No, Your Honor.
And do you understand that this plea will give up your right to trial as well as your right to appeal conviction?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then I'll need a factual basis to support the plea, Mr. Regier.
Your Honor, looking through the affidavit, it looks like the offender observed a 2007 Chevy Impala on December 31st of last year. The vehicle was stopped in Andover, Butler County, Kansas at Southwest Indianola and US 54. And it looks like the vehicle was searched, and in the center console, a blue glass pipe was located with a burnt botanical substance, which a defendant knows from his training and experience to be marijuana.
Well, I find the defendant guilty of count 1, possession of marijuana, dismissing count 2, paraphernalia as part of the plea agreement on motion of the state. Recommendations for sentencing.
Your Honor, pursuant to plea for count 1, the state is not recommending a fine. The state is recommending 158 court costs, $400 KBI lab fee. I'll of course defer to the court on the issue of attorney fees. 120 days underlying, 12 months reporting, $6 probation fee, as well as for the defendant to obtain a drug and alcohol evaluation and follow recommendations.
Anything further, Mr. Patterson?
Would ask court to adopt recommendations, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Pinkerton, you're not going to be given a fine, but you're going to be paying $158 as ordered court costs, $400 ordered as KBI fees, $60 as probation supervision fee. Now, where do you work, sir?
Aramark, and it's the food service for the prison out here at Alberta Correctional Facility.
I'm sorry, I heard Aramark and then the rest of it cut out.
I work for Aramark. I'm a food service supervisor out at the El Dorado Correctional Facility.
I see. And is that a full-time job?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to order $250 of your court-appointed attorney fees. Your sentence is 120 days suspended sentence, provided that you successfully complete a 1-year supervised probation to be supervised by court services. I will expect you to call court services and report for probation as soon as this hearing is over at 316-322-4153. Additional conditions of probation are to get a drug and alcohol evaluation and comply with it, and to have no alcohol or illegal drugs, not to possess or consume or be around them or people who are using them. You are to pay at least 1/12 of your total due each month, starting with the month of August 2023. It must be paid again the close of business, the last business day of that month, August, and 1/12 of the total thereafter. Anything further?
And what is that total, Your Honor?
I can just give you the figures of $250, $158, $400, and also $60. If you add those up, divide them by 12. Does that work for you? Were you able to write them down? Your probation
Just
officer.
one moment. I've got,
Okay,
oh yeah, he'll have it.
probation will have it.
Should be
for you.
right around 908, 968 something.
Somewhere around 900 roughly, yes. Okay. Anything further, Mr. Regier?
From the state's perspective, Your Honor.
Mr. Patterson?
And Judge, I might have missed it. Did the court give him a phone number to call?
I did, but do you need me to give it to you again, Mr. Pinkerton?
If you would, please.
Okay, 316-322-4153. Mr. Pinkerton, did I lose you?
We'll make sure he gets the phone number, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. And we'll be in recess on Pinkerton. Who would you like to take up next?
Aaron Long, Your Honor.
We're on the record now in 2023 TR 446, State of Kansas versus Aaron Michael Long. Before we call appearances, Mr. Pinkerton, did you get that phone number? I see you're back with us.
I did not. My phone cut out and it, for some reason, just hung up. And I was like, no, 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 no. If you wouldn't mind repeating that for me just one more time.
316-322-4153.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Anything else, Mr. Pinkerton?
No, I believe that's all.
All right. Thank you, sir. You may go.
All right. You have a nice day. Thank you.
You too. On the record, continuing in Long, please announce appearances.
Chair Regier, on behalf of the state, Your Honor.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Aaron Long, who appears to be present, but Mr. Long, can you turn on your video and audio, please?
There we go.
There we go. And Judge, in this case, I would announce that I have discussed certain plea negotiations with Mr. Regier. I believe there is a request for a continuance. I would make that request so that Mr. Regier can look into some of these plea negotiations that are requested a little bit closer.
All right. How much time are you thinking, gentlemen?
However much time Mr. Regier would need, Judge.
Your Honor, given that the court has already been setting cases for the September date, I think that continuing this matter out to that same date would be appropriate.
I understood we did have some in August, Mr. Regier. Do you want to hear the August dates, or would you rather set it out to the September?
Under these particular circumstances, the state would respectfully request the September date, Your Honor.
Very well, and that date again, Savannah, September?
We can still do September 18th at 9 or 8.
September 18th at 8 o'clock. Mr. Long, you're ordered to be back here by Zoom. In the meantime, you're ordered to be in contact with your attorney and to be available if Mr. Patterson or when Mr. Patterson needs to talk to you. Okay. All right. Anything further, counsel?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Judge.
Then we are in recess. Mr. Long is excused. Mr. Patterson?
Michael Otis, Your Honor.
We are on the record in 2023 CR 118, State of Kansas versus Michael Thomas Otis. Please announce appearances.
Chair Regier, on behalf of the state, Your Honor.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Michael Otis. Mr. Otis does appear via Zoom audio visual. Judge, this is one charge of criminal littering. To that charge, Mr. Otis will enter a plea of guilty.
Mr. Otis, how do you plead to criminal littering on July 3rd, 2022 in Butler County, Kansas?
Guilty, Your Honor.
You're admitting the charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is anyone making you enter this plea by any kind of threat or promise other than your plea agreement?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand with this plea, you're giving up your right to trial as well as your right to appeal conviction?
Yes, Your Honor.
And where did this crime occur?
It was outside of Augusta in Butler County on Dyke Road.
Okay, I am familiar with that being in Butler County. And what, in your own words, did you do that makes you guilty of criminal littering?
Well, on that July 3rd, I went down a dead end road and put my dogs down and disposed of them by the river, Your Honor.
Were these dead dogs alive or deceased?
Deceased.
Okay, you took them out and you dumped them on somebody's property?
I didn't know it was their property, but yes.
Okay. And you knew you didn't have any, well, strike that. Okay, so I will accept the plea of criminal littering. Recommendations for sentencing, Mr. Regier.
Your Honor, first and foremost, the state would recommend a $250 fine, $158 in court costs, and of course, I'll defer to the court on the issue of attorney fees pursuant to plea. Pursuant to KSA 215815, subsection D, quote, in addition to the fines in subsection B, a person convicted of littering shall be required to pick up litter for a time prescribed by and at a place within the jurisdiction of the court. Pursuant to plea, I'm not going to take a specific position as to the details of that. Nevertheless, my office will absolutely insist on documentary confirmation that has been completed, but as to the specific details of when and where, I'll defer to the court on that.
All right. Mr. Patterson, recommendations?
Judge, this is a self-contained statute with the punishment contained within that statute, which is a fine of $250 to $1,000. We'd ask court to adopt recommendations of $250 fine. It does not have any provision for a jail sentence. Would ask the court to, again, adopt the recommendations, as well as paragraph D does require the court to set a specific amount of time that he is to spend picking up litter, as well as a what agency it looks like to me, so that I guess I would ask the court to consider either the Butler County Highway Department or Road Department, so that they could monitor that, provide a letter that he did complete the requirement. I'll file that in the court file as soon as I have a copy of that.
The other option could be the city, maybe the city park or something. But I think your recommendation, and I say that because it's so close to the city's jurisdiction there. But I will follow those recommendations. Mr. Otis, your fine will be the minimum required by law of $250. Your court costs of $158. You shall be ordered to eight hours of picking up litter, and you can divide that up however you need to, as long as it's done within a reasonable period of time. What kind of work do you do?
I'm a signal electrician.
And that's full-time job?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'll order that you pay $250 of your attorney fees. So I believe that's about $658. How much time do you need to pay that, sir?
Could I have about 90 days, Your Honor?
That'd be fine. I'll give you 90 days to pay. I'll give you 90 days to get that 8 hours of community service, basically picking up litter. I will authorize the suggestion of your attorney, the Kansas Highway Department, provided that they will accept that. Some agencies will not. But I certainly authorize that. And if they won't, then you'll need to get with your attorney and find someone that will. So get proof of that to your attorney as soon as possible, that you've got that done, and get that paid. If you don't have it paid in 90 days, it will go to collections, and the collection agency will add a fee to it. If you don't get the community service done, and again, that's what I'm calling it for lack of other terms. If you don't get that done within 90 days, you could be found in contempt of court. You could have to pay more money and jail time on contempt. So just make sure you get that done so you can put this behind you and not do it again, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Anything further, counsel?
Your Honor, besides ordering that this case be paid off in full and with the 8 hours litter to be completed within 90 days, the state would respectfully request leave the court to journalize that proof of the completion of the littering sentence shall be filed with the court.
Yes, Mr. Regier, that'd be fine. Please do.
Thank you, Your Honor.
If there's nothing further, we'll be in recess on Otis, and Mr. Otis is excused.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr.
Brandon Trimbalati.
We will now be on the record in case numbers 2022 TR 2565 and 23 TR 538, State of Kansas versus Brandon Scott Triboletti. Please announce appearances.
Chair Begier, on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson, appear on behalf of Brandon Triboletti. Mr. Triboletti does appear via Zoom audio visual. Your Honor, pursuant to plea negotiations, state has agreed to dismiss 23 TR 538, and Mr. Triboletti will enter a plea of guilty to the 3 charges in 22 TR 565 or 2565.
Mr. Regier, that's your agreement?
That is my understanding, Your Honor.
Mr. Triboletti, that's your agreement?
Yes.
How do you plead then, sir, to count 1, operating a motor vehicle in Butler County, Kansas on June 17th of 2022 without proof of financial security or insurance? How do you plead?
Guilty.
How do you plead to count 2, operating a motor vehicle on June 17th, 2022 in Butler County without displaying a proper license plate
Guilty.
or a legal license plate? You plead guilty?
Yeah.
And how do you plead on to the charge that on June 17th of 2022, you're operating a motor vehicle while transporting an open container of alcohol?
Guilty.
Is anyone making you enter these pleas today by any kind of threats or promise other than your plea agreement?
No.
You understand you're giving up your right to trial as well as your right to appeal conviction with these pleas?
Yep.
Can you tell me in your own words briefly what you did that makes you guilty of these 3 charges?
Driving with the open container with no insurance and not my tag.
And where did you drive?
I was on 3rd Street in El Dorado, Kansas.
Very well. I find you guilty of each of the charges. Recommendations for sentencing, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, pursuant to plea, for count 1, the no proof of insurance charge, the state would recommend a $300 fine, $108 court costs. I'll defer to the court on the issue of attorney fees, 120 days underlying with 12 months of reporting probation. For count 2, the state would recommend a $25 fine, 30-day underlying, 12 months reporting. For count 3, the state would recommend a $200 fine, 120 days underlying, 12 months reporting, sentences to run concurrent, and of course, standard $6 probation fee.
Mr. Patterson?
Judge, we'd ask court to adopt the recommendations.
Mr. Regier, this appears to be his first charge and conviction on these. Is that what you're showing?
Your Honor, the information that was filed with the court back in August does charge count 1, no proof of insurance as a Class B.
Okay. All right, Mr. Triboletti, on count 1, no insurance. I'm going to assess the minimum fine allowed by law, which is $300. Your sentence will be 120 days suspended. On count 2, your fine is $50. On count 3, your fine is $200. Your sentence is 120 days. The count 3 sentence is concurrent to the count 1. For a controlling 120 days, you'll have to serve if you violate your probation. I am putting you on a 12-month reporting probation. You must contact the probation office immediately after this hearing.
Okay.
You have your pencil?
Yeah, I'm getting one.
Okay, everyone have a pencil and pen ready. Pencil and paper.
Okay, I got it.
All right, your probation number is 316-322-4153.
Okay.
In addition to your $300 fine on count 1, your $50 on count 2, and your $200 on count 3, you'll also be assessed court costs of $108 and supervision fees of $60. And where do you work, sir?
I work at, I'm going back to Textron.
When do you go back to Textron?
I start next week.
All right. I'll make you pay $250 towards your court-appointed attorney fees.
Okay.
All standard conditions, plus you'll need to pay 1/12 per month of the total due. Starting with the month of August, that payment, 1/12 of the total, will be due on the last business day of the month of August.
Okay.
1/12 each month.
Okay.
Anything else, Mr. Regier?
I do not believe so, Your Honor. Is the court not ordering an underlying sentence for count 2?
I didn't.
Very well, Your Honor.
Mr. Patterson, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Then we will be in recess. Please, Mr. Triboletti, call your probation officer. And you won't have to see me again as long as you comply with your probation. If you don't comply with your probation, you could end up here with a warrant to show cause why your probation should not be revoked and you serve the balance of your sentence.
Okay.
Any questions?
Nope.
All right, then you're excused, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, Cordell Red.
We are on the record in 2023 TR 643, State of Kansas versus Cordell Lamont. Is it Red or Reed? Sir, where are you?
Cordell.
Yes. Hello.
Remind me, sir, is it Red or Reed?
Red.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, but I wasn't 100% sure. So on the record in State of Kansas versus Cordell Lamont Red, and I think council have announced appearances. Mr. Patterson.
Your Honor, this is a case where Mr. Red is working on getting a drug and alcohol evaluation. He did have some financial difficulty with that. He does have that issue resolved now so that he can get the drug and alcohol evaluation. Would ask court allow it to be set over one additional time so he can do that, and then we'll have it ready for disposition.
All righty. Do you want that September date?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, was that the 18th at 8 a.m., Savannah?
Yes, that still works, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Red, get that alcohol and drug evaluation done. I know you were going to try in April, so let's see if you can't get that done and be back here September 18th at 8 a.m. ready to finish this case.
Okay, I will do it.
All right, thank you, sir. Anything else, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing from the state's perspective, Your Honor.
Then you may go, Mr. Red. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, James Descharme.
We are on the record in 2023 CR 23, State of Kansas versus James Allen Descharme. Please announce appearances.
I'm here.
Jared Regier on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson, appear on behalf of James Descharme. Mr. Descharme does appear via Zoom audio visual. Judge, in this case, 23 CR 23, there's one count of possession of marijuana. And at this time, I would announce Mr. Descharme will be entering a plea of guilty to that charge.
Mr. Descharme, how do you plead to count one, possession of marijuana?
Guilty.
Is anyone making you enter this plea today by any kind of threat or promise other than maybe a plea agreement?
Nope.
Do you understand with this plea, you are giving up your right to trial as well as your right to appeal conviction?
Yep.
And can you tell me in your own words briefly what you did on December 10th, 2022 that makes you guilty of this charge?
I got in a wreck and they found 3 grams of marijuana on me.
All right. And you knew this marijuana was on you?
Yeah.
Okay. And where were you when you got in the wreck?
Right outside of Augusta on the highway. On 54.
Okay. Like within a couple miles?
Yeah, I hit the bridge.
Ooh, okay. All right, I accept your plea and find you guilty. Recommendations for sentencing, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, pursuant to plea on the sole count of possession of marijuana, a Class B non-person misdemeanor, the state has agreed to recommend no fine, a $400 KBI lab fee, $158 in court costs. I'll, of course, defer to the court on the issue of attorney fees. The state would further recommend 120 days underlying sentence, 12 months reporting probation, $6 probation fee. Defendant shall obtain a drug and alcohol evaluation, follow recommendations. Additionally, in the context of plea negotiations, counsel and I discussed another case involving the same defendant, 23 CR 313, in exchange for successful entry of a guilty plea. In this case, 23 CR 023. State has agreed to dismiss 23 CR 313 pursuant to the information filed in that case. More recently, on June 22nd of this year, that case also does have one count of possession of marijuana, Class B non-person misdemeanor.
So he has a total of 2 or a total of 3?
He does not, Judge. That was a duplicate filing. It is filed in the information as the same date as this occurred. So it was just a mistake. So it's being cleaned up and dismissed.
And that's 313?
Yes, Your
All right, so at this time, Mr. Patterson, have you anything further to say about sentencing?
No, Your Honor.
Then I will not order a fine. I will assess a 120-day suspended jail sentence. Costs and fees include $400 to the KBI, $158 in court costs, $60 in probation supervision fee. And Mr. Descharme, remind me where you work?
McCollum Construction in Augusta, Kansas.
And that's 40-hour a week.
30 to 40 hours a week. It could be on and off.
All right. I'm going to assess a $250 attorney fee. Your probation is going to be for 12 months. You are to report to court services. Call them as soon as your hearing is over at 316-322-7700. All standard conditions will apply, including no alcohol and no illegal drugs. Don't go around it, around people that have it, etc. You're also going to have to get a drug and alcohol evaluation that must be scheduled within the next 30 days. And you must pay 1/12 of the total due each month, beginning with the month of August. And your payment will be due the last business day of August and each month thereafter. Failure to comply with probation can result in your probation getting revoked and you're actually serving 120 days in the Butler County Jail. Any questions about that, Mr. Descharme?
Nope.
Okay, Mr. Regier, anything further?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Mr. Patterson, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. And we are in recess. Mr. Descharme is excused to call his probation officer.
Judge, I missed, did you assess attorney fees or not? I'm sorry.
You say that again, please?
Did you assess attorney fees or no? I'm sorry.
Yes, I did.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Descharme, you're excused. Mr. Patterson?
Your Honor, Toby Littlepage.
We're on the record in 2023, CR 76, State of Kansas versus Toby Bryant Littlepage. Please announce appearances.
Jared Regier on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson, appear on behalf of Toby Littlepage. Mr. Littlepage does appear via Zoom audio visual. Judge, this is a case after reviewing it and talking with Mr. Littlepage. It appears he should apply for diversion. He is going to get that done. It sounds like this week he is waiting for a check to come in to do the drug and alcohol evaluation and diversion fee. But he's going to get right on that. We should have a diversion completed before a court date, if the court would allow September 18 as the next court date.
Savannah, is that still doable?
You said do what?
Yes, we have about 4 more spots open on that day, so that should be good.
Thank you. All right, any objection from the state, Mr. Regier?
I do not believe so. I do have some notes from the diversion coordinator, which would appear to suggest this defendant would qualify for diversion. However, in order to successfully initiate that process, a drug and alcohol evaluation will be required. So I might respectfully suggest it would behoove the defendant to start that process sooner rather than later.
All right, Mr. Littlepage, I will grant you this continuance to September 18th at 8 a.m.
You said September 18th, 8 a.m.?
Yes, I did. But Mr. Littlepage, you get that alcohol and drug evaluation scheduled and get that application in if that's what you want to do.
Yes, Your Honor.
Don't wait. Get that done right away.
Yes, Your
All
Honor.
right, we'll be in recess. Mr. Littlepage is excused.
Your Honor, Damian Kaiser.
We are now on the record in 2023 CR 75 and 2023 TR 267, both captioned State of Kansas versus Damian Michael Kaiser. Please announce appearances.
Gary Gear on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Damian Kaiser. Mr. Kaiser does appear via Zoom audio visual. Judge, both of these cases are DUIs. Mr. Kaiser is working on getting a drug and alcohol evaluation. He did have some trouble getting that, but I think has one scheduled through Augusta this afternoon so that he is going to get that done fairly quickly. He is, rather than set it for September 18, he would ask the court to consider date maybe 30 days from today so that cases can be closed.
Mr. Regier, this one case is numbered 2023 TR 267. It alleges that the DUI was May 25th of 2022. Is that the intended date or is there a typo on there?
One moment, Your Honor.
The narratives have May 25th, 2022, Judge.
Okay.
And that is what my records are showing as well, Your Honor.
All right, it just struck the court off that it was so old. But
There
sometimes-
was a KBI report blood sample, so it took a little longer, Judge, to get it on
Okay.
file.
All right, so what date did you suggest, Mr. Patterson? 30 days out?
Mr. Kaiser is just hoping the court will allow 30 days out to schedule it for finalized.
Okay, so Savannah, you had that date in August?
Or I can put him on August 14th at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. Sorry.
Please, Your Honor.
All right, that will be the order. Mr. Kaiser, make sure you're back here for both these cases, August 14th at 8 a.m. or is otherwise directed by your counsel.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Kaiser, when you get that drug and alcohol, make sure and let them know I'm your attorney so they send me the report, okay?
Okay, I actually have it scheduled for tomorrow at 11 in the afternoon, so I'll just get that done and then I'll call you. Or do I just let them know that you're my attorney?
Just let them know I'm your attorney and tell them I need the report.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kaiser.
What was that date again?
That date was August 14th, 8/14. At 8.
August 14th.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. 8 a.m.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. You may go, sir.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
You too.
Your Honor, Michael Coulter.
We are on the record in 2023 TR 1354, State of Kansas versus Michael Aaron Coulter. Please announce appearances.
Gary Gear on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Michael Coulter. Mr. Coulter does appear via Zoom audio visual. Judge, this is a case where Mr. Coulter and I have not had the opportunity to discuss his case. I would be asking the court to allow it to be set over to a new court date and also ask that I be allowed to set a specific date and time that he is to call my office to discuss this case.
Mr. Coulter, this isn't your first case in front of me, is it? Haven't I seen you on some other matters, Mr. Coulter, not too long ago? I can't hear you, Mr. Coulter.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
No, I haven't had you on any other matter recently.
Okay. Well, it looks like you've had similar charges back in 2020. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yes, that could be it.
And then some in 2019. Now there's some in 18, but I would have not been on that. Okay, all right. So how much longer do you want to set this over to the September date?
Yes, Judge.
September 18, Mr. Regier, is that okay with you?
No objection to that date, Your Honor. Looking through my notes, it looks like at the previous April 10th hearing before Judge Rickey, the court had maintained the defendant under the bond while.
Hang on just a moment, please. Mr. Coulter, I'm getting some feedback. You have your camera and your telephone. There we go, perfect. Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, as I was saying, at the last hearing before Judge Rickey, the court had maintained the defendant under his bond, which I believe is $3,500 professional surety, while also ordering that the defendant can only drive when legal in all material respects. I'm assuming the court is continuing that special order.
Yes, most definitely.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything further, Mr. Patterson?
Judge, I just wanted to make sure Mr. Coulter writes down the court date, September 18 at 8 a.m. And then also writes down that he needs to call my office August 1st at 9 a.m. And my phone number is 316-322-7700.
And I'm going to, as a condition of your bond, I'm ordering that you reappear September 18th at 8 a.m. by Zoom, and also that you keep that appointment with Mr. Patterson August 1st, 9 a.m.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, if there's nothing further, we'll be in recess and Mr. Coulter is excused.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, Zachary Harvard. Probably mispronounced that. I think it's Havard.
I thought that when you said it, because he had just told me most people put an R in it. All right, we're on the record in 2023 CR 8, State of Kansas versus Zachary Ryan Havard. Please announce appearances.
Reverend Regier, on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Zach Havard, who does appear via Zoom audio visual. Judge, this is a case where we are asking to have it set for jury trial, but in addition to that, I have emailed the county attorney's office asking to have certain discovery, including a PRD of Zach Hobson and then Officer Daniel Harshbarger, as well as one of the pages of the narrative was cut off and unreadable. So I'm just asking for a complete page of that part of the narrative, and then just ask that we set for jury trial, Judge.
Any reason why that should not be made in order that discovery be turned over, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, my understanding is that this is Ms. Norris's case. I myself have not been any party to any informal discovery requests, I suppose, for lack of a better term. So I really couldn't speak to that particular issue at this time. But I do note that there does not appear to be a formal motion on file with the courts.
All right. I'd be happy to sign a journal entry if a motion and order is filed. I don't, of course, if an objection is made, I would entertain that as well. The jury trial will be October, and I don't remember the exact dates. Do you have those, Savannah, for pretrial?
It's October 2nd for the pretrial, and then the 4th and 5th for jury.
So, Mr. Havard, you must be here by Zoom October 2nd. That's a Monday at 8 a.m. Then you must return Wednesday, the day after, October 4th and 5th for your jury trial.
All right.
Those will begin at 9 a.m., but Mr. Patterson will tell you what time he wants you to be here. And that will be a live jury trial in front of a jury at a court. So do you have those dates?
Yes, ma'am. I'm writing them down right now.
Very good. Any questions about it?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, make sure you're available to Mr. Patterson at dates and times directed by him.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Mr. Patterson, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Regier, anything further?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. That was October 2nd at 9 for the pretrial hearing, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Or for the client, it's 8 a.m., but for you, it's 9 a.m. Okay, nothing further. Will it be in recess? Thank you again, Mr. Havard, and you're excused.
Thank you. Y'all have a wonderful day.
You too.
Your Honor, if we can take up Billy Morris.
We are on the record in 2023 CR 70, State of Kansas versus Billy D. Morris. Please announce appearances.
Here, Regier on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Billy Morris. Billy Morris does appear via Zoom audio visual. Judge, he does have another case, 23 CR 105. It's currently set for July 24 at 8 a.m. I am asking the court to move this one to that same date so that I can have additional time to work through both of these cases and see if we can't get them all resolved.
Is the other case a criminal trespass as well?
The other case is a charge of violation of protective order.
Mr. Regier, state's response to this request to set this over to July 24 with the other case?
Your Honor, I'm showing that the current case, 23 CR 70, is still a relatively young case. Looks like we've had maybe a couple of hearings at this point. But as far as the limited purpose of continuing this matter 2 weeks, I don't think the state would have any objection at this point.
Looks like Mr. Morris has had quite a few cases in front of the court. I want to make sure he doesn't have any that we don't know about here.
Judge, he also has some felony cases.
Okay.
Those are on different dates.
Okay. All right, this matter is continued at the defendant's request to July 24th at 8 a.m. If there's nothing further, now, Mr. Morris.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't have any contact with anybody you've been ordered not to. Don't be having contact with any property you've been ordered not to, or you'll jeopardize your bonds.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. If there's nothing further, we'll be in recess.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you. Mr. Morris is excused.
Judge, we're at a point where I would need a breakout room with Mr. Regier, and there are a couple other people on here that I would need breakout rooms following that.
I'm showing a Mark, Elmore, Valerie, Anthony, Tasha K. And Cole Porter at least. Okay. Thank you. Any particular order or just whoever Savannah wants to give? Oh, you said you wanted Mr. Regier.
Mr. Regier first and then follow up.
All right. Savannah, if you could put Mr. Regier and Mr. Patterson in a breakout room, thank you. Now, where did we, oh, there she is. As I say, where did we lose Valerie Anthony? She's down there. Looks like Savannah, that Michael Elliott and Jason Graves have not appeared yet.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Same with Lopez Sanchez, failed to appear.
Correct.
McFadden
Yep, and McPherson.
and McPherson. Well, that's good roll. Got a few more minutes, but not many. Is it Elmore or Almore? How do you pronounce your name, sir?
It's Elmore.
Mr. Elmore, I got your message that you're at work and your battery is at stake there. So I will try to get your case heard soon. Have you spoken to your attorney yet?
I have not.
Okay, well, that's probably something you'll need to do, but we'll sure try to get you all through here just as soon as we can.
Okay, I appreciate you saying, I appreciate you responding. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. And it's really very important, all of you who are listening, to make sure you make every effort to get a hold of your attorneys before court for obvious reasons.
He was supposed to get a hold of me after my first appearance, but I never heard from him.
Okay.
I went to their office like you had told me to do across the street and filled out the paper with my name on it, but they never called me.
All right. Well, if you don't hear from them, call them again, but I understand. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Savannah,
Yes,
can I have Mark Alamore?
yes, you got it.
Mark, when you see join, hit join.
Say what?
Hit join.
I hit it. Okay, gotcha.
Judge, if I did not lose Mark Alamore, we'll be ready for that one. He might have to rejoin, Judge. Could we take up Taisha K?
Certainly. We are on the record in 2022 TR 3009, State of Kansas versus Taisha Shabri K. Please announce appearances.
Chair Regier, on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appearing on behalf of Taisha K, who does appear personally via Zoom audio visual, would announce at this time, state has agreed to amend count one, the only charge, to a Class B non-person misdemeanor, no proof of insurance. To that amended charge, my client, Ms. K, would enter plea of guilty.
That's your agreement, Mr. Regier?
It is, Your Honor. This case has some rather interesting facts, but in any event, the state has agreed to amend count one from a Class A to a Class B.
Ms. K, how do you plead to operating a motor vehicle without proof of liability insurance, a first offense?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Is anyone making you enter your plea of guilty today by any kind of threat or promise other than your plea agreement?
No, ma'am.
And were you understanding that this is, again, it's a waiver of your right to trial and your right to appeal conviction?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you operating a motor vehicle in Butler County, Kansas on September 14th of 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you at the time have any proof of insurance?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And where were you stopped? By the officer?
In between Wichita and Emporia.
On the turnpike?
Yes.
Okay. And I trust you have that mile marker within the county, Mr. Regier?
I do, Your Honor. The ticket indicates the location was on I-35 at mile marker 84. That appears to be just on the northeastern tip of El Dorado Lake, certainly within Butler County.
Thank you, sir. I will accept the plea and find the defendant guilty. Recommendations for sentencing, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, pursuant to plea, the state would recommend a $300 fine, 108 court costs. I'll defer to the court on the issue of attorney fees, 120 the underlying sentence, 6 months non-reporting probation.
Mr. Patterson, anything further before sentencing?
Would ask court to adopt the recommendations, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. K, your fine will be the minimum required by law of $300. Your court costs are $108. And where are you employed?
I'm self-employed.
Okay, what do you make per month?
It varies, but I do not know. I'd say around like 2,000 a month.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a massage therapist.
Okay. I'm going to assess $250 in court costs. Your jail sentence is 120 days suspended. And your probation is 6 months non-reporting. Your probation has 2 requirements if you don't want to serve the jail time. Number 1 is don't violate any laws during the 6 months. And pay your fines and costs, which I believe are about $658. How much time do you need to pay those?
If I could have a few months, that would be great.
Certainly. Do you think 90 days is enough, or do you need 120?
Could we do 120?
Yes, I'm going to give you 120 days. Now you can make payments on that, and I would encourage you to do so it doesn't all build up. But if you don't have it paid at the end of the 120 days, they could suspend your license in Topeka. You could have a collection agent come after you. You could have your probation revoked. So lots of incentive to get that paid in 120 days.
Yes, ma'am.
And you can pay to the clerk of the district court, or you can call them. If you want, I can give you the pay online. It's PAYKScourts.com. Just paykscourts.com. But if you have any questions about that, call the clerk of the district court in El Dorado. Do you have any questions now?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Anything further, Mr. Patterson?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Regier?
Nothing from the state's perspective, Your Honor.
Thank you. Then Ms. Kay, you are excused at this time. You may go.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. All right, we are back on the record in 2023 TR 1359, State of Kansas versus Mark Christian Elmore, with the state appearing by and through Jared Regier, Mr. Elmore in person, and by counsel Darren Patterson. Mr. Patterson, any announcements on this one count of driving while suspended second?
Yes, Your Honor. When announced this time, Mr. Elmore is going to enter plea of guilty to this charge of driving while suspended, Class A non-person misdemeanor. I would also tell the court that discussions I had with Mr. Regier included 10 days house arrest, work release. Mr. Elmore does not have the money for that, so he would instead be asking the court to order the 5 days in jail, but ask the court to split that up into the next 3 weekends.
Any objection to that, Mr. Regier?
I do not believe so, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Elmore, that's your plea agreement? Mr. Elmore, can you hear me?
Pardon?
Can you hear me?
Sorry, you broke up.
Did you hear your attorney?
Yes, I did.
And did he state accurately your plea agreement?
Yes.
Okay. How do you plead then to operating a motor vehicle while your license was suspended?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
Is anyone making you enter this plea today by any kind of threat or promise other than your plea agreement?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand you're giving up your right to trial as well as your right to appeal conviction?
Yes.
Okay. Were you operating a motor vehicle on February 6, 2023 in Butler County, Kansas?
Yes.
And was your license suspended at the time?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you at the time have a prior conviction for driving while suspended?
Yes, I did.
And do you remember where the officer would have stopped you for driving while suspended?
I think it was on Dyke Road, just outside of Augusta.
Okay. I find jurisdiction and I find you guilty. Recommendations for sentencing, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, state would recommend pursuant to plea $100 fine, $108 court costs, defer to the court on the issue of attorney fees. Pursuant to plea, the state would also recommend a 6 months underlying sentence, 12 months reporting probation, $6 probation fee. I believe previously counsel and I had agreed to 10 days house arrest with work release. However, if the court is prepared to order 5 days imprisonment as required by statute under KSA 8-262, I do not believe my office would have any objection to that.
You're recommending a 6 months controlling and a 12-month probation?
Yes, Your Honor, reporting.
Thank you. Anything further, Mr. Patterson?
Your Honor, would just ask the court to order the recommendation of the state, and as to the 5 days, would ask the court to allow him to appear July 14 at 7 p.m. for 48 hours, July 21 at 7 p.m. for 48 hours, and July 28 at 7 p.m. for 24 hours.
All right, thank you. Mr. Elmore, At this time,
Yes.
your fine is $100 and your sentence is 6 months in the county jail. Your court costs are 108. Your attorney fees, 250, and your supervision, 60. Now, it looks like you're working. You've told me you're working. Are you working 40 hours a week?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 6-month sentence controlling, but that is suspended provided you successfully complete a year on probation, that is 12 months. All standard conditions will apply. You're not to be driving in any way, shape, or form without a valid license and proper insurance and tag.
Yes, ma'am.
You will have to serve 5 days in the jail. I will let you break it up as proposed by Mr. Patterson. That is on July 14th at 7 o'clock, begin serving 48 hours. On July 21st at 7 p.m., start serving 48 hours. And on July 28th, 7 p.m., serve 24 hours. Your totals look like they come to about $500 and some odd dollars. How much time do you need to pay those?
I have also court costs and fines I'm paying off in Augusta. As much time as you can give me, that'd be beneficial.
How about if I have you and your probation officer total them and divide it by 12 and you pay that much per month?
Okay, I could do that.
All right, pay 1/12 of the total due each month, starting with the month of August. Payments will be due the last business day of each month. 1/12 of the total due, starting again with the month of August.
Okay.
Anything else, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, that was 7 p.m. on all 3 of the reporting dates.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything further, Mr. Patterson?
Judge, I just want to inform Mr. Elmore that, of course, he needs to call his probation office after this, but they are closed from 12 to 1 generally. So it's probably after 1 o'clock that you need to call them, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
I will do
you have
that.
their number? Do you have their number?
I don't, but I can get it online.
Well, let me give it to you. Do you have a pencil or paper?
I don't, Your Honor. I'm at work right now. I'm in a Bobcat right now, actually on the highway. So I don't have a piece of paper or pencil on me.
Are you allowed to drive a Bobcat on the highway? I don't know the answer to that, but think about it. Since you don't have a license, you don't have to answer that. Just you and your employer work it out. Just don't violate the law. Okay.
Okay. Could I ask Mr. Patterson to maybe email me the phone number?
I will.
Great. Okay. Thank you. And you may go, Mr.
I
Elmore.
appreciate it.
All right. Next.
Judge, if we could take up Valerie Anthony.
We are on the record in 2022 TR 3381, State of Kansas versus Valerie Dawn Anthony. Please announce appearances.
Here, Regier, on behalf of the state, Your Honor.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Valerie Anthony. Ms. Anthony does appear via Zoom audio visual. Judge, this is a case where after talking with Mr. Regier concerning plea negotiations and what the defense is requesting the state to consider, that there is a request for additional time to work out these negotiations, would ask for September 18, Your Honor. I believe we can finalize it at that time.
And Savannah, we can do that, right?
Yes, that should work.
All right. Continued at defendant's request to September 18th. Miss Anthony, you must be back here by Zoom at 8, but Mr. Regier official time is 9 o'clock. But again, Miss Anthony, you need to be here and make sure you're available between now and then if your attorney needs to talk to you. All right, you may go at this time.
Your Honor, I will need to do a quick breakout room with Mr. Troyer to get that case prepared for a plea.
All right, thank you. Mr. Troyer, are you there? Cole Troyer, are you there? Can you start your audio and video?
Yes, I'm there.
Right, we're gonna have an invitation to your breakout room to talk to Mr. Patterson. Be sure and click
Okay.
on that. Thank you.
Always get back first. There we are.
Probably more experience. Okay, we're back on the record in 2022 TR 3626, State of Kansas versus Cole Dion Troyer. Please announce appearances.
Jared Regier on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Cole Troyer. Mr. Troyer does appear via Zoom audio visual. Judge, I would announce at this time, Mr. Troyer will be entering a plea of guilty to the charge of driving while suspended, Class A, non-person misdemeanor.
Mr. Troyer, how do you plead to driving while suspended after a prior conviction on September 6, 2022 in Butler County?
I plead guilty.
Is anyone making you enter this plea of guilty today by any kind of threats or promises?
No, ma'am.
You understand that if I accept your plea, you will not have a trial and you won't be able to appeal your conviction?
Yes, ma'am.
So are you telling me you were operating a motor vehicle in Butler County on September 6th of 2022?
Yes, I was.
Was your license suspended at the time?
Yes, it was.
And at the time, did you have a prior conviction for driving while suspended?
Yes, I did.
The only remaining matter then would be jurisdiction. Where were you stopped for this?
Right past the Casey's. I don't really know the street name. So you go down the main street. It's like you're driving to Country Club Road. So you've got that.
Which town are you in, Mr. Troyer, when you tell me this?
In El Dorado.
We're talking about Casey's in El Dorado?
Yeah, so there's like if you're going to the El Dorado Lake, you come up to essentially like a three-way side. I took a right there and then he blew me.
Okay, so as I recall, that's Main Street, isn't it, Mr. Regier?
I believe.
If
I don't know.
may.
Hang on, Mr. Troyer. What'd you say, Mr. Regier?
If I may, Your Honor, pursuant to paragraphs 4 and 6 of the affidavit, it looks like the vehicle, or rather the officer was originally traveling eastbound in El Dorado, Kansas on West 6th Avenue. Looks like the stop was officially conducted at the intersection of 12th Avenue and North Osage Street. My understanding is that would be in El Dorado, certainly within Butler County, based off of both those paragraphs, reading them together, and it looks like that is in somewhat close proximity to a Casey's.
Is that the old Casey's we're talking about? Not that it matters, but okay. Okay, that's, yeah. All right, so I find you guilty, and recommendations for sentencing, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, pursuant to plea, the state would recommend a $100 fine, $108 court costs, all deferred to the court on the issue of attorney fees, 6 months underline, 10 days house arrest with work release, 12 months reporting probation, $6 probation fee.
You said reporting probation for how long?
12 months reporting probation is the state's recommendation pursuant to plea, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything further, Mr. Patterson?
Oh, Your Honor.
All righty. Mr. Troyer, where do you live? What
I
town?
live in Wichita, Kansas.
And where do you work?
I travel, so it's just wherever the job is. The company is based out of El Dorado, but like right now I'm out in Fowler, Kansas, and I'm citing a house out here, and it'll be this week and then next week, and then I don't know where the next job will be until we get done with this one, or at least not till next week.
So are you a roofer then?
Huh?
Do you do roofs?
No, I do siding, doors.
I gotcha. All right, so it's a full-time job?
Yes.
Okay. Your fine, sir, is going to be $100. Your court costs are $108. Your attorney fees are $250. Your supervision fee is $60. Your controlling jail sentence is 6 months. That will be suspended with the exception of the house arrest. You will have a 12-month reporting probation. The house arrest needs to start within 7 days. Get it scheduled so that within 7 days, you'll be on house arrest with electronic monitoring. I'm not sure how we're going to work that his job though, Mr. Patterson. I can't let him go all over.
What will probably end up happening is I'll probably end up taking those days off so that I can finish my house arrest.
Okay. I don't want you going all over the country while you're supposed to be tethered to your house there. So house arrest, electronic monitoring. Don't leave the house unless you have an assignment from your work right there in El Dorado. Who's your employer?
It is Expert Exteriors.
Expert Exteriors? Okay.
Yes.
Otherwise, I expect you to be in that house. You'll pay 1/12 of the total due each month, starting with the month of August. Your payments are going to be due the last business day of each month. Don't be driving without a valid license, insurance, and tag. Mr. Regier, is there anything else I need to address?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. The house arrest, besides the electronic monitoring, does that include work release?
Work release, no more than 40 hours, not outside of El Dorado. So it basically, it might exclude work release, but he can work under those terms. Excuse me, those terms.
Okay.
And those have to be verified work hours too.
Okay.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Patterson?
Judge, I would just like to give him the phone number for the work release or the house arrest program.
All right. Can you write this down, Mr. Troyer?
Yes.
Phone number is 316-322-0021.
All right.
And I don't know if I gave you the probation, but you need to call them at around 1 o'clock when they reopen from lunch. And their number is 316-322-4153.
So the only question that I have is, what is the first number for?
The one that Mr. Patterson gave you?
Yes.
That's to get your ankle monitor set up so you can start your house arrest.
I have to do that at a specific place, or can I not just go at a place in Wichita?
Mr. Patterson?
Cole, I just want you to understand that you can use any electronic monitoring place that works with courts. They just have to make sure and provide me proof that you are on, me and your probation officer, that you're on the electronic monitoring, you're complying, and that you finished it. But there are places in Wichita that do it. It's up to you, though, to contact them.
Okay.
And make sure they're approved by your probation officer. I think most of them are, but check with your probation.
I will.
All right. Nothing further. You're excused at this time, Mr. Troyer, and we are in recess.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir. Looks like we have some failures to appear, starting with Michael Elliott. On the record in 2023 CR 185, State of Kansas versus Michael Edward Elliott, Jared Regier for the state, Darren Patterson for the defendant who fails to appear. Recommendations, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, my understanding is this matter was previously set for last Monday, the 3rd, but for whatever reason, that hearing was canceled. It looks like, going off of the bond previously filed in this case for an April 10th hearing, an OR bond was previously ordered in this case, $2,000. If the court is prepared to order a bond forfeiture bench warrant, state would recommend $4,000 cash or surety.
Mr. Patterson?
Your Honor, I would tell the court that I have not had any contact from him, so I don't have any explanation of why he's not here. So nothing further, Judge.
Thank you. Bond forfeiture will issue, as will a bench warrant. Bond is set at $4,000 cash or surety required. Being in recess on Elliott, we are now on the record in 2023 CR 44 as well as 23 CR 195. Both captioned State of Kansas versus Jason Tillmage Graves, Jared Regier for the state, Darren Patterson for the defendant who fails to appear in either case. Mr. Patterson, do you know where your client is?
Your Honor, the notes in the file indicate that we have attempted to make contact with him, but have been unable to and have had no contact with him at all. So I don't have an explanation of why he's not here.
Mr. Regier, recommendations?
Your Honor, under those circumstances, in the 044 case, it looks like there is a bond setting for specifically today's date, July 10th at 8 a.m. Looks like it's 2,000 professional sureties. It would recommend 4,000 cash or surety bond forfeiture bench for it in that case. In the 195 case, it looks like another bond also for today's hearing, July 10th, 8 a.m., 2,000 professional sureties. It would recommend 4,000 cash surety bond forfeiture bench warrant in that case as well.
The court will adopt those recommendations as its orders, issuing in each case a bond forfeiture, also ordering in each case a bench warrant, also ordering in each case a $4,000 cash or surety bond. Being in recess on both the Graves matters, the court will be on the record in 2022 TR 766, State of Kansas versus Nilka Joanny Lopez Sanchez. Mr. Regier for the state, Mr. Patterson for the defendant who fails to appear. Defendant seems to have a rather dismal appearance record. Do you have any contact recently with her, or did you, Mr. Patterson?
Your Honor, I would note that on April 24, 2023, she did not appear at that time. The court was kind enough not to issue a warrant then and tried to give us a chance to find her. Since she has been accepted on diversion, we have been unable to have any contact with her, have no explanation of why she's not here. We did send out emails, but no response.
Recommendations, Mr. Regier, and I might note that we've had a couple of hearings where she wanted an interpreter, and I think we've tried to accommodate, but when we have to pick her up on a warrant, I don't know if that always happens, but Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, my understanding based off of the notes is that an agreement was prepared and sent to counsel. And I believe that was addressed at the previous April 24th hearing. But as the court has already rightfully observed, I believe the defendant also failed to appear at that hearing. It looks like there was a bond previously entered in this case at 3,000 professional surety. And my notes suggest that is the most recent one. So the state would recommend bond forfeiture bench warrant, 6,000 cash or surety. However, I am also showing two prior failures to appear, both for a March 23rd, 2022 hearing and an August 15th, 2022 hearing. So it would appear this case is getting some age to it. So if the court determines that a higher bond amount would be appropriate, I don't believe my office would have any objections.
Okay, she had a failure to appear March 23rd. She had a failure. I saw about 3 or 4 of those in there. Failure to appear August 15th of 2022. Failure to appear October 7th of 2022. Fails to appear today, so that's 4. And then she's got numerous misdemeanor controls interwoven in there. So at this time, I'm going to issue a bench warrant, but put a no bond hold on her so we can take care of this matter that's been pending for quite some time. Being nothing further on Lopez Sanchez, we'll be in recess. And we will proceed to 2022 CR, excuse me, 2022 CR 397, State of Kansas versus Amber Nicole McFadden. Jared Regier for the state, Darren Patterson for the defendant who fails to appear.
Judge, on this case, there was a competency ordered. She was found to be incompetent. She was transferred to Larned. She is still at Larned, trying to gain competency. Would ask the court to set this to possibly the August 24 date, so we can see if she's gained competency.
All right, we will, Mr. Regier, any objection to that?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. This is Ms. Norris's case. However, the prior notes from at least the previous hearing looks like that was June 26th. So give or take 2 to 3 weeks ago, does appear to suggest the same thing.
We will.
And Judge, I misspoke. There is no August 24 date, so I'm not sure what the August date was we were using previously.
I can do either August 14th or August 21st.
Either one, Judge. Thank you.
Let's do the August 21st at 8 a.m. for her, 9 a.m. for the rest of us. 8 a.m. for her and Mr. Patterson. All right. Then being in recess on McFadden will now be on the record in 2023 TR 846, State of Kansas versus Michael Donald McPherson. Jared Regier for the state, Darren Patterson for the defendant who fails to appear. Any word on this one, Mr. Patterson?
Your Honor, I have not had any contact from Mr. McPherson. We have sent out emails to him, no response, as well as a link for today's hearing. I have no explanation of why he's not here.
Then recommendations, Mr. Regier?
One moment, Your Honor.
Certainly.
Looks like the previous bond in this case was 1,500 professional surety with first choice AAA hot rod. So it would recommend bond forfeiture bench warrant 3,000 cash or surety.
We'll adopt that recommendation and make it the order. Bond forfeiture issued, bench warrant issued, and bonds set at, I'm sorry, you said 4,000?
3,000 was the state's recommendation.
3,000 cash or surety required. There's nothing further. We will be in recess on McPherson. Anyone else that we need to address today?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. I believe we've taken up all the cases.
Mr. Patterson, do you agree?
I don't have any other cases, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Regier, do you agree?
I would assume so, Your Honor. I was not involved for the first half of the docket, but if the court is satisfied, then I think that should be sufficient for my office.
All right, and thank you very much. I appreciate all your help, and this